This is Campus News, reporting the top stories from colleges and universities.
Next on Campus News.
President Biden is taking aim at tuition fees, how students feel about these fees, and why they're charged.
One NDSU club is throwing away the script. See how these students make it up as they go along.
MSUM students are gaining job experience by helping those in their community.
NDSU's esports room is finished updating. See how students are taking advantage of the new space. Good morning and welcome to Campus News. I'm Chris Hovden.
And I'm Alex Sapp. For many college students, tuition bills can be a headache to pay, and so is the long list of included charges with little to no explanation.
I met with MSUM administration to explain these fees and found out how students feel about them.
When students open up their tuition bill, there's usually more than just one charge in there.
For me, it's charges in 3 different departments and 12 other fees, adding up to nearly $1,500.
The fees are more associated with what we largely consider our auxiliary areas. So we don't have to have a student union to be a university, but we have one, and so we utilize the student fee process to fund that auxiliary area.
Most students don't even know what these fees represent.
I think a lot of people, if they don't take the time and go out of their way to look at those fees, they might not understand why they're paying, $500 to $1,000 additional dollars on top of tuition every single semester.
There's also fees that you might get in your bill that you don't really understand, like it might just be like miscellaneous, so you have to go ask someone for it.
The Biden administration is taking aim at a few of these fees. The so-called junk fees he's targeting include flex accounts and supply fees. Flex accounts include money that can be used almost like a debit card. Currently, any money that remains in this account at the end of the year stays with the university.
Students have until a specific time to utilize those funds, or then they're forfeited.
Biden hopes to change this and send that money back to students. He's also targeting fees that force students to buy books and supplies from their college or university. The new move will require either health and safety concerns or the written agreement of the student. This proposal is part of President Biden's goal to reduce post-college debt for all students. Chris Hovden, Campus News.
The bill is currently going through revisal at the Department of Education sessions.
College admissions rules are changing as new legislation appears across the country. Some states, including North Dakota, have passed bills that limit diversity, equity, and inclusion on campuses. Diversity, equity, and inclusion laws, also known as DEI, are designed to support historically underrepresented groups and prevent discrimination. When it comes to college admissions or employment, this can include things like DEI training or affirmative action programs. Over 26 states have introduced legislation that would limit or ban DEI efforts in colleges, including North Dakota, Wisconsin, and Texas. For larger schools, affirmative action can be one tool that schools use in admissions.
Think of those Ivy League schools, the Harvards and the Yales, and the practices they're using. They might receive 20,000 applications for a few hundred slots, and so how they whittle down that population can be a real challenge.
Last year, North Dakota was one of the first states to pass a law banning mandatory diversity training for students and staff.
The Department of Education has handed out its largest fine ever to a college for not reporting crime. Liberty University in Virginia will have to pay $14 million. Officials say the Christian college failed to maintain and disclose campus crime statistics. Campuses are required to disclose these numbers under the Clery Act. They're often used by prospective students when selecting schools. Liberty University also agreed to spend $2 million on a new compliance committee and to make campus safety improvements.
We're coming up on spring break season, but not everyone is excited. The city of Miami Beach is breaking up with spring break to avoid rowdy crowds and drunk public displays. Officials released a video announcing stricter rules for college students and tourists this month. That includes curfews, road closures, DUI checkpoints, and more patrols. Some beach access points will also be closing early on certain nights. Last year, the city saw 2 people die in back-to-back shootings.
A new study shows a quarter of college graduates are earning less than people with just a high school diploma. The HEA Group, a research agency focused on college success, says 1 in 4 college grads earn less than the median income of high school graduates, $32,000 a year. 8% of institutions show their graduates' income a decade after enrolling is less than $22,000 a year. A 2023 poll by the Wall Street Journal shows just over half of Americans believe a 4-year college isn't worth the cost. Students in MSUM's Speech Language Hearing Sciences program get to put their knowledge to real-world use at the school's on-campus speech clinic.
Reporter Drew Berg visited the clinic to see the effect it has on both students and the community.
Inside Murray Hall on campus, MSUM students who are in the university's SLHS program are getting valuable experience working with patients from the community.
My book.
Graduate students conduct all of the sessions with patients, and the on-campus clinic makes it more convenient for them to gain experience.
They can literally be in a class and, in 3 minutes hop into our clinic and do an observation or start treating a client.
The clinic offers services like speech development, language development, hearing screenings, and more. Students spend at least 25 hours as an undergrad observing appointments and over 400 hours working with patients as a graduate student.
Our goal is to support student learning and education and provide them with really good, solid foundational skills.
Arrow Wainscott is a patient at the clinic, and her mom says she has enjoyed watching her daughter's progress.
It's really cool to see her grow and just expand herself and really learn her autonomy and find her voice in not just a verbal voice, but a voice with her communication device.
Whether a patient attends sessions for a few weeks, months, or years, the clinic can provide positive encounters for both the students working in the clinic.
It's an amazing feeling. It's awesome.
And the parents who take their children in as patients.
These college kids that we work with, they might not see that they have a huge impact on our life, but they really do.
With photographers Alex Sapp and Katie Bartnick, Drew Berg,
High five, dude.
Campus News.
Buchan says the clinic averages around 80 patients per semester. For the first time in over a decade, enrollment numbers are up across the Minnesota State University system. Minnesota State Chancellor Scott Olson credits financial support for giving more students the opportunity to attend college after years of falling numbers. In 2023, the Minnesota legislature allocated over $4 billion in tuition and fee incentives for Minnesota residents. Olson says there's been a 2% increase in students across the Minnesota state system within the 2023-24 school year.
MSUM's new president, Dr. Timothy Downs, is starting his second semester as the head of campus. Reporter Nate Cohen spoke with President Downs to discuss his challenge to students and faculty.
It's been one semester since MSUM welcomed its 12th president, Dr. Tim Downs, to office.
Being part of that process, leading this conversation, to take this institution up to that next level and then to the next level, it's what I live for. It's my DNA, and I'm just proud to be here, and I know that we're going to continue to be even better.
President Downs says he feels excitement buzzing around MSUM's campus.
The students here are very engaged and seem to be excited to be here. So if they're excited to be here, I'm excited to be here. Let's just keep that energy going on campus.
Downs expressed his goals for the university, including improvement of MSUM's image to the area.
So I want to elevate that perception of us as a critical piece of the Moorhead community in this region.
The president explains that not everyone has the full picture of what MSUM is all about.
The institution's been here since 1887. So everybody knows we're here, they know where we are, and they think they know what we do. But they don't. We're not now who we were then. We've evolved as a university. That's what universities do.
How does Downs plan to change the university's perception? With help from those on campus. He's encouraging anyone with an opinion to share.
Everybody needs to come forward with ideas of how we can be even better.
Nate Cohn, Campus News.
President Downs says he's grateful to return to a presidential position. He previously served as president of Northern State University in South Dakota. And MSUM isn't the only school in the region with a new administrator. The University of Minnesota has a new president. The school selected Dr. Rebecca Cunningham as its 18th president. Dr. Cunningham was formerly the vice president of research and innovation for the University of Michigan. She rose to the top of the pack after a round of interviews with 42 candidates. The 4 final candidates went on campaigns around the state, including open houses and public forums. Dr. Cunningham's presidency will begin on July 1st.
2 online NDSU master programs are receiving national recognition. Best Colleges ranked both master's programs in the dietetics and software engineering the 3rd best in the country. NDSU's Department of Health, Nutrition, and Exercise Sciences teamed up with Great Plains Interactive Distance Education Alliance to offer the program. Director of Teaching and Learning, Stacy Duffield, says the collaboration has helped students get more degree options and opportunities. NDSU's Software Engineering Master's program started in 2009. A Massachusetts University student is spending the next few weeks of his spring break in Oklahoma, but it's not to party or vacation. Instead, it's a bike journey for a charity in an attempt to break a Guinness World Record. Todd Kazikowicz has more on his mission.
I am in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma right now, and I'm about to start a ride.
Northeastern University PhD student and bike touring enthusiast Sam Westby is embarking on a bike ride of over 1,000 miles, which could set a world record. Not for the distance of the ride, but the shape of it.
To attempt a Guinness World Record for the largest GPS drawing on a bike by an individual.
This is the journey Sam is planning to take. Yes, it is the outline of a shoe, which is a clue about the other reason Sam is using his spring break for such an ambitious adventure.
This whole thing's a fundraiser at the same time.
Sam is partnering with the nonprofit organization Shoes That Fit to get new pairs of shoes and socks to children in the U.S. who need them.
I'm trying to raise enough money for 250 pairs of shoes and socks.
Sam's goal is to raise nearly $9,000. He'll be riding entirely inside Oklahoma, a state he chose because of its warmer weather and gridded roads, which make the ride safer and the drawing easier to accomplish.
Today's February 28th, day 0, day 1 of the trip, and then I expect it to take about 14 days.
Sam plans to vlog the more than 1,100-mile trip by using hashtag #StatsForTheNerds on his social media platforms.
While artificial intelligence is forbidden at some universities, Mayville State has a scholarship for professional development involving AI. Mayville State University nursing professor Carrie Haugen is one of 15 North Dakota State University System faculty members to receive a scholarship through the Dakota Digital Academy. The $1,000 scholarship is used to attend and participate in developmental experiences involving AI and to encourage professional learning and AI performance in college classrooms. The 2-year anniversary of the Russian invasion of Ukraine has spurred a lot of thoughts around the world, even the art world. At MSUM, over 5,000 miles away from the war, it was commemorated by inviting the curator of the Women at War art exhibit to speak. Curator Monika Fabianska was joined by NDSU professor and Ukrainian-American Anastasia Andrianova to discuss the impact of the war on female Ukrainian artists. Monika says art is a way for people, even all the way across the world, to show their support.
Art is a medium to speak about ethical issues, political issues, traumas, happinesses, emotions, and what is left after we're gone is most usually art.
The exhibit premiered at the Friedman Gallery in New York in 2022, only months after the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. It's currently at the University of Manitoba School of Art Gallery and will be at the North Dakota Museum of Art in Grand Forks in early 2025. Competition was fierce at this year's MSUM juried art exhibition. Students submitted over 90 pieces, with less than a third making the final cut into the show.
Reporter Caitlin Haugrud tells us about the winning artworks, created using ink, watercolor, and even some antlers.
At MSUM's annual juried art exhibition, students from all experience levels were invited to submit their work. The 27 pieces selected were featured in Moorhead's Roland Dill Art Gallery. Max Dykhoff's sculpture, Crown, earned him the Gallery Director's Award and a cash prize. This unique sculpture is made primarily of deer antlers.
We used to raise them. We used to raise deer, and throughout many years, there's a lot of antlers in there from a lot of years ago and stuff. I know there's one in there from my grandpa, probably from like the 70s.
It also won the unofficial award for heaviest piece at the show.
It took us probably about almost an hour to hang it up. I had 3 of us on each side holding it while Danielle was up there with the ladder, like getting it all hooked up.
The artworks on display vary widely in medium and subject, from otters to plates. Senior Kenzie Reeder says her piece, Ferris Wheel, illustrates feelings of grief.
It makes people sad when they look at my piece, but it also makes them feel, and that's, I think, a great necessity in life. But I think the reason why I got in was because of the personal message.
Whether it's a student's first art show or one of many they've been a part of, they can all agree on one thing.
I'm glad that Peace of Mind got recognized, that someone actually appreciates it and likes it, and made me happy.
It's wonderful to have this piece in a show that was selected.
Really amazing to get stuff in here. It's just kind of like one of those things that's like, I did it, you know, it's just really, really rewarding.
With photographer Alex Sapp, Caitlin Haugard, Campus News.
The pieces in the show were selected by MSUM alumni Tom Weiss, who currently teaches at the Rhode Island School of Design. MSUM has been a key piece of the Moorhead community for years, but few students understand the university's rich history. A photo exhibit displayed in MSUM's Union educated students passing through, encouraging them to take a journey through time. The exhibit displayed photographs of the university dating back to the 1930s. The images displayed included old campus organizations, historic structures, and even a peek into Union during the 1980s. Trista Razor-Stursa, the university archivist, says there are many ways for students to learn about their institution.
Students can learn about the growth of campus, both through physically, through all the new buildings, about all the professors that have been here, and when various programs started.
Though the exhibit has ended, the archives have pieces of MSUM history all across campus. To Be Determined Comedy Club at NDSU has a knack for thinking on their feet.
Reporter Coleman Rader shows us how they use this creativity to entertain an audience.
Another occupation.
Juggler.
Let's do architect. That's a good one.
TBD Comedy is a group at NDSU that performs improv comedy, coming up with what to say or do on the fly, and asking the audience for fun ideas that create a show. First-year host Haley Sigel says improv clubs can be rare to find at local colleges.
I don't believe there are very many places in Fargo here or North Dakota as a whole that does improv comedy. I know that we're the only school in the area with a club.
Members of the club, like undergraduate researcher Salem Mueller, have even gained life skills, like being better at presenting ideas for her schoolwork.
Hi!
It helped me with my confidence on one-on-one conversations like this, and it also helps me kind of project my voice a bit more. I also don't get as out of breath having regular conversations, so.
While they stay connected on the stage to put on a good show, it's the special connections they've made off the stage that they say could last a lifetime.
Like the guy from the soap commercials.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can do that. Okay.
I have met a lot of now really close friends that we hang out outside of improv practices. I see them to be probably friends for a very long time.
Like Haley said, this is a great way to make friends. You know, I really do love everyone that I meet in TBD, and I really can't see where I'd be without them now.
With photographer Hunter Schwartz, Coleman Rader, Campus News.
TBD will host their next improv event on Saturday, March 23rd. And now we turn it over to Josh Boyko for a look at this week's sports.
And Josh, I hear another group at NDSU is having a big upgrade to their facilities.
That's right, Alex. The update is finished on the new esports lab at NDSU after the club spent the last 6 years in a small basement on campus. Reporter Jacob Anderson met with students and faculty at the new grand opening of the lab.
A new chapter for NDSU esports has officially begun. The new lab was pushed for by NDSU students and is now a luxury for gamers in the community.
I don't even know what I would do without it, if I'm being totally honest.
Carter Bukta is the president of the Overwatch esports community on campus and has been able to make new friendships through the community.
A lot of my friendships on campus are from esports in general, whether that's from past teammates, current players.
The new lab includes state-of-the-art computers, consoles, competitive gaming, and casual gaming.
Because we have something for everyone here at NDSU, I don't have to play just one game. I can play whatever I want.
NDSU has had esports since 2017. The old esports lab was in a basement of the Union Hall, and when the community grew, the college was seeking a new space.
When we first started doing this, we only had a few people really interested in the esports, but now that we have this space available, we already have 400-some students involved in the clubs.
I ran the old lab. That was maybe a fourth of the size that this is now. Tables just kind of pushed as close as they could get with computers there.
The PCs there were also a little bit slower, and they got really hot, and that room would boil.
Over the years, the students and staff at NDSU have found esports to be very important to the community.
For a lot of people, this is their chance to be competitive, their chance to find their niche, their place where they're trying to do stuff. So it's been a really fun time to see people from all different kinds of backgrounds, all different places come together as gamers and find their new place.
Esports is the sport for the accessible. Because of that, it makes it probably one of the most skill-expressive sports in my mind.
Despite having over 400 students involved with esports on campus, the esports community is still growing. With photographer Isabella Turnus, Jacob Anderson, Campus News Sports.
The Esports Lab is free for students at NDSU, and the public can pay per hour when they visit. Caitlin Clark is now the all-time leading scorer in all NCAA Division I college basketball. The University of Iowa phenom scored her 3,668th point with a free throw late in the second quarter against Ohio State University on Sunday. That broke the 1970 record held by LSU legend Pete Maravich. Clark ended the game with a total of 3,685 points in her college career. MSUM men's basketball player Dane Zimmer has achieved a milestone only 2 other players have done in school history. The fifth-year player is the 3rd player in school history to reach 1,000 points and 1,000 rebounds. Dane has a career average of nearly 9 rebounds per game. The 6'7" forward says his size still does not compare to his physicality on the court.
It's a lot of effort, boxing out every single time, being in there, making sure that we get the rebounds since it's super important that we don't let them get the rebounds on defense. It's just kind of my mentality going into it. Be the guy that gets as many boards as you can and do the best for your team.
Dane and 3 of his teammates, Jacob Beninga, Jameer Price, and Jakir Sanchez, were named to the All-NSIC teams. University of Texas wide receiver Xavier Worthy broke the National Football League record for the fastest 40-yard dash time last Saturday. The 20-year-old ran a 4.21, which breaks the record of 4.22 set by wide receiver John Ross in 2017. Worthy totaled 1,014 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns while helping lead the Longhorns to the college football playoff semifinals last season. Worthy added that he just wanted to go get the record for himself and was later challenged to a race by Pro Football Hall of Fame wide receiver Jerry Rice. The NFL draft is scheduled for April 25 through 27 in Detroit. At NDSU, club sports go beyond the typical intramurals. Reporter Caitlin Zeiger went into NDSU's MMA studio to find out more about the university's club.
When thinking about club sports, one might think it involves a ball. Not in this studio, though. At NDSU, the Wellness Center hosts a club packing a punch.
There used to be like a Muay Thai class here. The instructor had to go to Montana. So I started the club because I wanted people to train with, and the rest is history.
The MMA studio is normally packed with students taking the class, giving them something to look forward to in the week and something to keep them active.
I kind of follow the UFC and boxing world and like the fights and like the professionals, so it's always something I've kind of wanted to learn how to do. So I mean, it's also good cardio, good way to get some exercise in.
Just so I could have something to do like once a week and then have some cardio, and why not learn how to box a little bit in the meanwhile.
Something to keep the club going and students coming back is the variety of drills that Carl Van Horsen, the club leader, has for these young boxers.
Probably shoulder and knee tag. It's quite similar to sparring in that you're kind of throwing punches and defending against people trying to touch your shoulders and knees.
I like just doing pad work where you're working with the other person, because then it's more like when you hit a bag that's not reactive, and when you do pad work it's nice and reactive.
Learning and teaching to box is not the only things that these students are accomplishing here.
It's just a fun thing. We're not too crazy or anything in here. We have all ranges of different kinds of people who are experienced, so it's just a fun group, and we just come out here and have some fun and try to learn a little bit about boxing.
Because this is a big learning environment, I want people kind of teaching each other and helping each other to grow within the club, so it's important to have people around them to help support them and to become like a better martial artist and boxer.
No matter the level, school year, or experience, anyone can join the class. Everyone is taking it one hit at a time. With photographer Jalen Wagner, Caitlin Zeiger, Campus News Sports.
The club is a real knockout with all of its success. And guys, do you think you're ready to take a swing at boxing?
Anytime, anywhere.
We'll be there.
Thanks, Josh.
MSUM's Battle of the Bands is an annual event for student musicians to show off their skills.
Reporter Coleman Rader went to find out how ranking these performers is another kind of battle altogether.
Skill. stage presence, crowd reaction, originality, as well as overall performance are important factors the judges are looking at to find out who would win this year's MSUM Battle of the Bands. I asked judges Josie Fogg and Matthew Wishard on what qualities they valued the most.
As our judges talked, it was a little bit more about making sure the music that we're saying, hey, this is going to take home the win, was very unique and not just a cover band, but a little bit more than that.
Crowd and originality were the big two. Those are the big defining characteristics for the bands that we judged.
Judging an event like this is no easy task, causing the judges to come together and decide the placements as a collective unit.
I didn't think the crowd was as into it.
It can also be tough to remove bias when it comes to what music the judges like.
Try to knock a point or two off if I think, like, bias-wise, like, oh, their skill is good, but I think they're a metal band, so I'm gonna, try to keep myself reined in that way.
And when it's time to pick a winner, the judges narrow down their top 2 bands and decide who has the edge.
And Reverse. Yeah. Okay, and we had Reverse and Frost. It's really, really close between these two, so let's discuss on, originality is a key thing we want to talk about, and we bumped a group up because of that.
After hearing all the performances and discussion, the judges decided the band Reverse Bear Trap was the winner. With photographer Hunter Schwartz, Coleman Rader, Campus News.
2024's event marked the 9th year of the competition. And that's it for this edition of Campus News.
We leave you with more from MSUM's Battle of the Bands.
Thanks for joining us, and have a great week.
Campus News is produced by the Television News Workshop in the School of Communication and Journalism at Minnesota State University Moorhead, in cooperation with Prairie Public Television.